Hello friends, and welcome to another mystery. Today's video, I tell you the folklore and stories about the Chestnut Ridge incident, which involves Bigfoot. So sit back, relax, and let's get the scare over. Chestnut Ridge, located in southwestern Pennsylvania, is a 75-mile-long ridge running through Westmoreland, Fayette, and Indiana counties. While the ridge is known for its scenic beauty, it's better known for something far more sinister, an eerie history filled with bizarre, terrifying sightings of Bigfoot-like creatures, unexplained lights, and UFOs. For decades, this area has been the epicenter of some of the most frightening and mysterious encounters ever recorded. This is a true account of the incidents that have plagued the region, with all real names and details presented in chilling clarity. The strange activity on Chestnut Ridge didn't begin in recent years. Native American legends spoke of shadowy humanoid creatures that roamed the dense forests. As settlers moved into the area, tales of eerie howls echoing through the valleys and strange lights in the night sky became common. But it was the 20th century that brought the most chilling accounts, forever cementing Chestnut Ridge as one of America's most notorious paranormal hotspots. Stan Gordon, a Pennsylvania native, began investigating UFO and Bigfoot sightings in the 1960s. Over the decades, he became the foremost expert on the strange occurrences at Chestnut Ridge. Gordon's dedication to documenting these reports has provided some of the most detailed and credible accounts of unexplained phenomena ever recorded in the region. He interviewed hundreds of witnesses, collected evidence, and pieced together a timeline of events that defies logical explanation. His work forms the backbone of this true story. The year 1973 was a turning point for Chestnut Ridge, marking the beginning of one of the largest waves of UFO and Bigfoot sightings in Pennsylvania's history. The most chilling event occurred on October 25th, when a farmer named Steve Palmer reported seeing a strange dome-shaped object hovering over a field near his home in Fayette County. The UFO was unlike anything Palmer had ever seen, glowing brightly, almost pulsating, as it hovered silently above the ground. Palmer's fear turned to terror when he noticed something moving in the darkness below the craft. He saw two massive, hairy creatures, easily over 7 feet tall, covered in thick, dark fur. The creatures' eyes glowed a sinister red in the dim light. Palmer described them as having a powerful build, walking upright like men but with a lumbering, animalistic gait. Alarmed, Palmer called the police, and within minutes, state troopers and other locals had arrived at the scene. As the group approached the field, they could hear guttural growls and high-pitched screams that echoed through the trees. They saw the creatures moving, their immense forms backlit by the glow of the hovering UFO. One of the armed men fired his rifle in panic, but the bullets seemed to have no effect. The creatures turned their heads slowly, their glowing eyes fixed on the group, and then, without a sound, they vanished into the woods. The UFO blinked out, disappearing as mysteriously as it had arrived. Ernest Smith, a local who witnessed the event, described it as one of the most horrifying experiences of his life. He stated, "They didn't look like any animal I've ever seen, and the way they moved, it was like they didn't care about us. Like we were nothing." Stan Gordon arrived on the scene shortly after the incident. He interviewed Palmer, Smith, and the other witnesses, all of whom provided nearly identical descriptions of the creatures and the UFO. Gordon found large, human-like footprints in the area where the creatures were seen, measuring over 18 inches long with a strange number of toes, something not matching any known species. He also noted the unusually high levels of electromagnetic interference in the area, which caused flashlights to flicker and radios to malfunction. The encounter sparked a media frenzy, drawing the attention of both local news and paranormal enthusiasts. Yet, despite the widespread coverage, the authorities were unable to provide any satisfactory explanation for what had occurred that night. The 1973 encounter was not an isolated incident. Over the years, reports of similar creatures and strange phenomena continued to pour in. In 1974, a group of Boy Scouts camping on Chestnut Ridge claimed to have seen a large, hairy creature stalking their campsite. One of the scouts described the creature as a giant man covered in fur, with eyes that glowed red in the dark. The creature reportedly watched them from the edge of the woods, letting out a deep, rumbling growl before disappearing into the trees. Another frightening encounter occurred in 1981 when a couple hiking near Kecksburg, a town near Chestnut Ridge famous for a 1965 UFO crash, heard loud whooping noises followed by the sound of something crashing through the brush. The couple saw a large creature, partially hidden by foliage, watching them from a distance. They described it as gorilla-like, but with human-like eyes that seemed to study them curiously. Terrified, they fled the area, only to hear the creature's heavy footsteps following them until they reached the safety of their car. When they reached the vehicle, they found the windows fogged up from the inside, even though they had not been inside the car for hours. In 1987, a local resident named James Brown reported hearing a loud, roaring sound near his home on Chestnut Ridge. Brown described the noise as something between a scream and a howl, unlike any animal he was familiar with. He went outside with a flashlight and was startled to see two glowing eyes staring back at him from the tree line. The creature let out another roar, shaking the trees and sending Brown running back inside his house. After this encounter, Brown found massive footprints in his yard, identical to those documented by Stan Gordon years earlier. Despite reporting the incident to local authorities, no evidence was ever found to explain the origin of the sounds or the creature. Over time, Chestnut Ridge developed a reputation as a cursed place, where strange beings and supernatural events are the norm, rather than the exception. Locals have shared stories of disappearing livestock, mysterious rock-throwing incidents by unseen entities, and unearthly screams that echo through the woods late at night. Some believe these creatures are guardians of the land, while others think they are connected to the UFO sightings, possibly extraterrestrial beings, hiding in the dense forests of Pennsylvania. One of the most persistent legends involves a creature known as the Stone Man, a Bigfoot-like being said to have skin as tough as rock, immune to bullets, and capable of disappearing at will. Sightings of the Stone Man have been reported for decades, often linked to glowing orbs seen hovering above the ridge. To this day, Chestnut Ridge remains a hotspot for paranormal investigators and enthusiasts hoping to catch a glimpse of these elusive creatures. Stan Gordon continues his work, documenting sightings and gathering evidence that defies scientific explanation. Many locals still refuse to enter the woods after dark, haunted by the stories passed down from generation to generation. Despite the overwhelming number of eyewitness accounts, the Chestnut Ridge creatures remain as mysterious as ever. Are they undiscovered animals, extraterrestrials, or something beyond human understanding? The truth is still out there, lurking in the shadows of the ridge, waiting for the next unsuspecting victim to stumble upon its path. For the residents of Chestnut Ridge, the terror is all too real. They live with the knowledge that on any given night, the forest might come alive with unearthly screams, glowing eyes, and the ominous presence of something that defies all logic. So what are your thoughts about the strange events that's been happening at Chestnut Ridge for decades? And could there be a link between the UFO sightings and Sasquatch? Let me know your opinions down below. And until I upload another video for your entertainment, thank you for watching, and may God bless you and your families. Stay safe.